My name is Conrad, and how are you, buddy? We're going to see how today goes. I've decided to pop on here for a few minutes and talk to you. I just left, I just got to go to parent-teacher conferences here on this Thursday morning. My kids don't have school, so went to parent-teacher conferences. I can't say I'm not nervous. I wasn't nervous. I know both of my kids. I'm pretty, I don't know, I guess I assume that everybody has the same involvement with their children as I do, but maybe that's not true, but I already knew what my kids liked and didn't like about school. But it was nice to go talk to the, teachers that they have and see how they've been doing and how they interact with other kids and, how much I affect them with my disease. I guess I should I don't know if I should even call it a disease. People call it a condition. I call it a disease because it can be devastating. But, they were just starting going to school, the first day of school when I was in the middle of my last manic episode. And both of my kids, my wife has been pretty proactive in making sure that they also go to therapy for having such a different event happen to them. To have a dad that goes manic, and when I went manic, I don't know, it's like this weird thing. All I want to do on any other day is be in my house and around my children. That's like my happy place or whatever. But when you go manic, there's this part where you're not, at least for me, there's this part I know I'm not myself, and so I distance myself from them. I distance myself from my children and I guess I do it on purpose, or subconsciously it's on purpose, like I don't want them to see me that way or something. So I guess there's a part of me that what do teachers think of me, as the dad of these kids? And I want them to know, because they already knew my wife. Not only did she go to school there, and it's a small town, but she also substitute teaches. She's around the teachers. She's she's a colleague to most of them, in addition to being a former student. So it's really difficult to, I don't know how to act when you go to parent-teacher conferences after coming off of a manic episode where I wasn't even around when school started. I was off. And that's what I'm saying. The only thing I did differently during this last manic episode in comparison to the previous one my kids had to witness a little bit more. They had to witness me in the garage making all these connections between old pieces of my past and now, and that was really weird for them. They didn't understand. And so today it was like I was a little bit anxious going to the conferences, but I knew my kids are fine. They do well in school. They don't, although my daughter is described as a firecracker, she's got a little bit more of the tendencies that I had growing up, but even still she's able, like me, to concentrate and get through whatever it is she has to get through. I was able to get through school without even really ever trying that much, and it showed. You know what I mean? I never did stellar unless it was something that I was interested in, and it seems that both my kids understand that they get that from their mom, that it's all important. So they take it pretty seriously, and once I got there, I didn't feel judged. When you have this, you think everybody knows everything that happened when you were manic. You think that there's this fucking pamphlet that goes around, a damn pamphlet, that goes around and tells everybody like, oh no, you should know what this guy was thinking. And there's nothing, that doesn't exist. And whatever preconceived notions they had about me prior to meeting me, I don't know. There could be none. In my mind, it's all of them. Like, they must think I'm crazy. They must think, my children, they must think it all comes from my wife, the intelligence factor, because I got 2 smart kids. They must think I'm just this oddball that doesn't care. And I don't know, but when you go meet them, you realize they probably don't think any of that stuff. And, I guess my son, I know that he's too hard on himself. He's kind of a perfectionist, and so I got a little bit of that in me too. Like, if you're going to do something, you better do it right. That kind of thing was what I grew up on. But in school, my goal that was told to me was always, just get a B. And it's like, that's all I ever really tried to get, was get a little bit above average. Because that was, you get what, your kids will do, at least in my experience, my children, we've always had a really high expectation of them in school. And I think anyways, I was pretty nervous about going to parent-teacher conferences because just they get pulled out of class to go to therapy. So everybody, and my daughter doesn't stop telling people that I'm bipolar. She loves it, which I tell her, like, it's not something to be, you don't have to go around advertising it, but I don't want her to be embarrassed by me. So I try not to ever really tell my kids what not to say to people. I just try to adjust what I say to people in my lifestyle, in my example, hoping that they just take from that. So after talking to both of my children's primary teachers and after talking to the others, I feel pretty good that they know what's going on. Kind of. They had an idea, maybe. Just because my children get taken out of school to go to therapy sometimes. But they got to finally put a face to this, problem, I guess. Am I a problem? Or different. They got to put a face to the different. I'm just different. Or I guess. I don't know. But I was just nervous about it, and there was no reason to be so. Although, I'm going to be completely honest with you, because I always am. So I typically, one of the things I've done, and I used to do it unknowingly to combat mania, is exercise. Mainly run, but I'll just walk now because the Abilify I'm on makes me tired. But I was wanting to get my run in before, because usually I get pretty anxious. The medication I'm on makes me feel like I'm crawling out of my skin, if that makes sense. Like it really was bad. They gave me another thing to kind of mask it, but it would really feel like all my joints were on fire, and I had to keep moving in order to be comfortable and be pacing to be comfortable and to burn enough energy or whatever. So this morning I did my run, but I'm training, to do this marathon with my sister. And what's up? I see this person all the time. Hey guys, if you're saying hi, thank you. I'm driving, so I can't really talk, but hey to everybody that's watching. Appreciate it. But I have this underneath. I don't wear, this is the first time I put this on since I weighed like 250 pounds, because there was a time in my life when I weighed 250, 260 pounds. And I'm kind of a short fella anyway, so that's a lot of weight. But I feel stupid a little bit. Not only was I the bipolar dad who just came off a manic episode, who's going into parent-teacher conferences, dressed like the contractor that I am, I also, underneath, have a sweatsuit on. It's not like one of the big whooshy ones that, like a trash bag style, but I'm trying to cut weight a little bit because I want to perform well in this marathon. And I know that I probably shouldn't even be trying to cut weight at this time. But if you've ever ran long distance, you know how much just a few pounds can add to a 26-mile run, and I'm not looking forward to it. So I'm just doing my best. I just felt stupid going to parent-teacher conferences with a friggin' sweatsuit on underneath my clothes, and you feel like it's one of them things where, I don't know, I guess it's gotta be, you're hiding something. It's just that I'm hiding something. It's like if you're wearing some people have to wear a freaking diaper. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But if you do, it's like you don't want to tell everybody. And so, although can kind of hide that I'm wearing a cutting weight suit underneath my clothes, there's also a part where I kind of can't hide it. So luckily nobody noticed, because it was already embarrassing just wearing it, and it kind of stinks too. It's just wearing a sweatsuit, so it kind of it's got a unique odor, that's what I would say. I wouldn't say stinks. But, okay, that's everything. I had to go to parent-teacher conferences. I was kind of nervous about it, but it all turned out just fine. My kids are doing well. They're not only adjusting to their grade level requirements well, but they're adjusting to their father going through this mental health crisis that I just had went through very well. And tomorrow is my brain mapping. I get to go get my brain mapped, and I'll let you guys know what that process is and what that's like, because I didn't have it yet. So I'll let you guys know about that tomorrow. And in even bigger news, right now I'm headed to IHOP. That's the spot I go. IHOP, International House of. Please give me some more of them delicious pancakes, brother. Which I don't eat because I can't. But I'm headed there to meet up with Shannon, who was my previous co-host on the Connie G show and the other episodes. So anyways, I'm getting out of here, and I'm going to talk to him, and there's a chance in the future, if you're interested, which, why wouldn't you be? But if you're interested, you can go back and listen to all the shows he's a part of. I mean, we did the Connie G show together, we did the Conrad and Jack show together, we did those guys from Wichita together, we did the OK Taco show together. And so now, with Touching Tornadoes, he's been in the tornado a couple times now. He's had to deal with my mania that blew up the OK Taco show, and he's had to deal with my mania, just this past time, because he's like one of my closest, he's my cousin, but also my closest friend. So it's been kind of tough. But we'll go eat some pancakes and some eggs and get over it. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm jumping onto Kellogg Avenue, headed westbound, maybe. And with that being said, have an okay day. Don't let your meat loaf.